Mommy with Style, and I am back from beaches, Turks, and Caicos. I had an amazing experience. Hope you guys enjoyed all the videos that I shared, kind of showing a little overview. And I thought I would talk more about the experience in a recap, kind of share what it was like. I know that I'm going to get kind of some comparison questions, so I'll try to answer those. And then I also posted on Instagram and on Facebook like a Q&A type of thing, so I'll try to touch on some of those questions that were on my phone. So first things first, the trip was great. I had 3 flights. I know a couple people asked this, why did you have 3 flights? Turks and Caicos is the Provinciales airport is really small. It has 3 gates, I believe, and there's only a certain number of airlines that fly in there. For me, the big ones were Delta, American Airlines, and I believe Air Canada were some of the different brands that I was looking at. I think some people also flew down on JetBlue. So there was really kind of a limited number of flights that went in. There's only a few flights each day, definitely for each carrier, but then sometimes certain days even have fewer flights. So prices were very expensive this year. My ticket was double what it was last year when we were supposed to go. And the reasoning for that was, of course, this area was devastated by the hurricanes last year. Irma and then Maria came through almost the same path. And so the area had a lot of damage. It was shut down. A lot of people had flight vouchers that they had to use. And so the airlines, I think, really compensated for that. And so just to be on the up and up, my flight last year was $600. My flight this year was $1,200. So literally double. So the flights were a little bit different, but I'm kind of expecting that to kind of even out as they get further from, you know, that time period where all the flights were really kind of messed up, I think, from, you know, the impact from the hurricane. So that's why I had 3 flights. I went from Huntsville to Charlotte, Charlotte to Miami, and then Miami to Provinciales. And Huntsville is also a smaller airport, so there's not a lot of connecting flights. If I would have flown Delta, I would have gone Huntsville to Atlanta, and then I think Atlanta straight down. So that would have cut out a flight, but the tickets with Delta were over $2,000, so I opted to fly American. So that was that. That's why there was so many flights. But once you get there, Beaches is an all-inclusive resort. So everything's included, from the food, the entertainment, the drinks. There's very few things on property that you would need to pay for out of pocket after you get there. So it isn't like an all-inclusive price. And Beaches is owned by Sandals. So Sandals, they say, is for lovers, and Beaches is for families. Beaches is for everyone. And kind of a joke at the conference that the deputy chairman, which is like basically one of the owners of the company, it's still a privately held company, made, was that they had Sandals first, and then 9 months later, after someone would go to Sandals, they had a need for Beaches. So that was kind of the running joke that was said a few times. I thought it was funny. It was like, well, that makes sense. Like, you go to Sandals for a honeymoon or just a romantic trip, and then you know, eventually you may have a need for a few more people to be coming along for you. So the resort is laid out a little bit differently than Sandals, but I think it has a similar vibe. And Turks and Caicos specifically has a number of different villages that has their own food, their own entertainment, their own pool. So we were in the French village, which is kind of in the entrance or the back, depending on how you want to look at it. It's the back if you're talking about the beach. It's the entrance if you're talking about when you first arrive at the resort. And then from there, you can go to the Caribbean village, which I believe is more one of the original spots. It's got 2 pools. And I talked about that in one of the videos. One of the pools was more shallow, one was more deep. The Italian village, which is where I really spent a lot of my time. And then there's the Key West village, which we went over there for a lot of different activities. I went over there to eat a couple times. It's a little bit quieter vibe, and it's the villas and everything. But really a gorgeous stretch of beachfront property. I think if you guys saw any of the videos, you could tell the water there is amazing. And pictures and video do not even do it justice. The water is amazing. So I spent most of my time hanging out at the beach. I went snorkeling one day. You know, just like, I didn't try to get a ton of sun, although I did obviously get sun while I was there, and I used 70 SPF and still got sun. but hanging out at the beach, I spent a lot of time in the pool. I tended to gravitate towards the Italian Village pool. I utilized the swim up bars a ton, and I found a couple of favorite drinks. My 2 favorite drinks, if you're going there, I loved the Purple Rain. It was an amazing drink. It was purple, just how it sounds. I think it had vodka and some other things in it, but the frozen drinks, that one was my absolute favorite. And then I also like the Blue Hawaiian. So that's really kind of the vibe when you're at beaches. So it's for families, and they have kids clubs there where you can go drop off the kids. There's things that you can take the kids with you to go do. But it really is kind of this relaxed vibe. And the all-inclusive price does include alcohol. So first and foremost, you know, I've already been kind of like asked or hinted around the difference between other types of vacations. It really is a very different vacation than even going to like a theme park or going on a cruise, because you're flying into a destination and then really you don't have to leave. There's other things you can go leave and do off site, but everything you need is there. It is a vacation that feels very centered around the casual consumption of alcohol. I think that if you don't drink alcohol, you could still go and have a great time. But I mean, part of the appeal for me was being able to go to the swim up bar, grab a frozen drink, float around for a little while, grab another frozen drink, go to a different pool or go to the beach. I mean, that's really kind of a part of the experience. That being said, you don't have to drink to go there, obviously, but it is a part of the experience. Literally, you check in and they hand you a drink, an alcoholic drink. So that being said, everyone there seems really super happy. I mean, it's just a very relaxed, chill vibe. I didn't see anyone like visibly drunk or anything. Everyone seems to be like really good, just moderation, just a really good, happy vibe. So that was all really great. And then the food is also included. There's a number of buffets for like, especially breakfast. I think most of the places are like buffet type of things. They all serve a similar food, eggs, bacon, you know, fruit. I went to Mario's a lot just because I liked the ambiance. I had that kind of like Italian Village ambiance, so I liked that. There was a little restaurant in our area, the French Village, that they serve similar food, and it was the same idea, like a buffet type of thing. There was also a coffee shop that we went to and just had great sit-down chats a couple times at night, which we went to in our area a lot. I kind of preferred the Italian Village Mario's restaurant over the one that was in our area just because the ceilings were higher. For some reason, I'm really like, you know, obviously like this house, I just feel more comfortable when the ceilings are higher. That's like a really minor detail. So I just tended to gravitate towards that orientation. And then as far as the entertainment, I'll dive into the question and answer questions, but you guys saw obviously there was Sesame Street Entertainment, and that is a partnership between Sandals and Sesame Street. They were looking for kind of a wholesome entertainment to bring on board without having to make their own characters. So they struck up this partnership with Sesame Street, which I believe has been going on for around 12 years. They started out having 3 to 4 characters on site, and now they have 12. And the other cool thing is that they just recently introduced Julia, which if you aren't aware, she's a new character for Sesame Street as well. And she has autism. And so it explores kind of talking to kids about that, and also really talking to parents about that as well, and giving you ideas for how to interact, you know, things that can be helpful. So I really appreciated that. I thought that was really cool, that addition at both Sandals and for Sesame Street. And also, I learned on the trip, Sandals and beaches are one of the few autism certified vacation destinations in really the world, I think, at this point. So what that means is their kids club staff is certified and trained for how to deal with autism, ADHD, and a variety of things that would be things that you would really want, you know, the child care. If your child had ADHD or was like a flight risk, they were, you know, always trying to get away or whatever the situation was specifically, you really want people that understand that and kind of help you work with that, so you can have that peace of mind on vacation. And so their staff has had that training. I believe they said that their kids, the whole staff has had training, even like servers at the restaurants have had training. But the Kids Club staff in particular, I think they said had around 14 hours of training, specifically on, you know, working with kids with autism and other sorts of non-neurotypical things. And I'm sure that goes over to like neurotypical kids and, you know, helping deal with them as well. Because let's be honest, all kids from time to time are quite the handful. But it definitely, you know, seems like they have put a lot of thought into building a vacation that is fun for everyone. So that was really cool to hear more about that and see the kids clubs and see how they were set up. So they did have a Camp Sesame. So I showed this on, I believe, the last day that I'm there, kind of walk around a little bit and show a little bit more, because to be honest, I don't show a lot in the vlogs because I'm basically kind of going from place to place and where I'm floating around in the pool, which I did bring my camera for any of that, so I didn't figure you guys didn't want like 3 hours and be like, hey, I got another drink in the pool. But there was a lot of that. So anyhow, I went around on the last day, got to see the kids clubs, and, you know, got to talk to them a little bit more. So I'm going to be making some blog posts on that specifically. I can do a video if you have any specific questions about it, but I really tried to gather as much information for those blog posts and get a better sense of how it would work if you had the kids with you. Because obviously I didn't have my kids with me, and can we just talk about that for a second? So this is the first trip since 2015 that I've gone on my own. So in 2015, I won the trip to go to the Maker All-Star Creator Conference at Walt Disney World. That was the very first time I was ever away from the girls. And I'll be completely honest, it was tough. Like I teared up a couple times. It was tough being at Walt Disney World, and especially like standing in the line. And it was the first time I was ever away from them. There was definitely some tears on that trip. It was shorter. It was only like 3 to 4 days. The kids were younger then, and so it was, you know, it was tough. By the end of the trip, I really had enjoyed myself, but it was that first time. So this was the second time ever that I was away from the kids. It was about a week, so it was a longer time period, but they're older now, they're more self-sufficient. I knew my mother-in-law could come over and help my husband. Obviously, my husband is extremely capable and he can handle everything, but really, you know, just that kind of them being older. Mommy went and she had a great time. So I was like the little kid in Home Alone. So I had just a wonderful time being able to kind of direct my own schedule. I think that really moms, we need this. It was a really great like girls trip for me. So I knew a number of the people I've met at other Disney conferences. A number of the other ladies were also traveling solo. So we had dinners a few nights. Tons of great time just to go grab a coffee and chat about, you know, this new trend that's coming up. What about trying this, trying that? So much great energy. That's the one thing I will say. This conference, wow, I just felt like infused with positive energy. Like I felt so refreshed. Now it's starting to fade now because I've been at home for about a week. But holy cow, I felt so refreshed. I slept so good while I was there. It was amazing. And like my whole body, now my hands and feet did swell. Everyone like said their hands and feet swelled. In fact, one lady accidentally left her wedding ring there, which Beaches got it back to her. So thank you, Beaches, for that. But really, seriously, your hands and feet will swell because it's really humid, like way more humid than Florida, more humid than anywhere I've ever been. So my hands and feet did react to that. But as far as my body, when I slept, my hips felt great. Like I slept great, which was nice. But I just felt so infused with positive vibes. The people that worked there, they loved interacting. They, you know, would help you with everything, anything that you needed. If I looked like I was even just a hint of struggling with bags and they could tell I was on my own, oh, let me help you with that. They would just grab it and help. You would talk to people, you know, just exchanging, you know, information at a counter or whatever. You're getting food or you're just walking along, someone tells you hi. They want to stop and they want to tell you about their culture and their island, and they're so amazingly proud and positive about it. It was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed that part. Just such great vibes there. And then of course everyone at the conference was super energetic, very, very positive. Got so many great ideas to bring home. I've got like 10 different like new ideas going on. So it's really, really great positive energy. The conference itself was really great too. Great lineup of speakers and all of that. Then we had that great day where we were able to go volunteer at the school, which was amazing. I'm wanting more of this in my life, so I haven't talked a lot about it on my channel. There's a lot of things that I've started trending doing just in general, you know, like with me buying the Toms and the Diff Eyewear. I want to talk more about that because, you know, I do it and I do it for a reason, but I don't really talk much about it and elaborate on it. So I really want to start elaborating on that. And I talked a little bit about that in a live that I did when I was on the beach. And it is, you know, especially as you get older, but I think I've always kind of had that underlying, you know, I do always want to try to find ways to help people. And I think part of that comes out in videos. Like I feel like I'm helping people by doing videos, answering questions and that sort of thing. But even beyond that, just more action on my part, the more I can help people, the better. So I'm definitely want to talk about that in upcoming videos and just like why I wear Tom's shoes, why I buy Diff Eyewear, and what other ways there are to help. So we were able to volunteer some time at a school, which needs a lot more help, by the way. So I will put a link down below, and if you're so inclined, please check out that link, and there's ways that you can try to help. I'm trying to work with a few companies right now that I've worked with extensively in the past on some like STEM things and things like that to see if I can get some more donations to school and that sort of thing. But we were able to spend 3 hours at the school and help revitalize it just a little bit. I mean, it needs so much more. Their playground was just completely damaged from the storm, and it's really expensive. I know it's really expensive. Our playground here, they just did a fundraiser for ours, and it's really expensive to replace those sorts of things, but it's so important for the kids. So we are trying to come together as a Beaches Moms group to bring together funds and as many donations as we can, either monetary time or, you know, items donated to help that school and get them back on their feet. Because it's been a year since that hurricane hit, and they're still getting there, and so many schools in the Caribbean are too. So check out those links down below if you're so inclined. It's something I would definitely keep talking about because I've always really had this underlying passion for certain, what you could call like passion projects. But some of them, not necessarily this with the schools, but some of them like with just, you know, environment and things like that. You really don't want it to get like into a political topic because it's not political to me. It is really about leaving something better for my kids. And so we had a ton of great discussions on this trip about, you know, how to frame that and why it is important to everyone and why it's not political. And so that really kind of helped put me in a better mental space for like, hey, you know what? If you want to talk about this, talk about it. And if someone doesn't want to hear your opinion, they can just flip the channel off, you know? So that'll be more upcoming too. So I've got just so many like great ideas, and I'm hoping to keep that positive energy going. So obviously a conference is very different than like a vacation where you don't have the schedule that you're just kind of guided through the whole time, because we really had guided points where we, you know, we had certain places we were eating and certain things we were doing, and of course I interjected plenty of pool time and frozen drink time in between those points, so don't cry for me. But you know, it really is different. Any of these conferences that I go on, it's a different feel than like a family vacation. So let me jump into questions, because I know that I was asked this: would I bring the kids back? I know was one of the questions. Absolutely. One of the big reasons I pretty much immediately from the time I knew that this was a go, it wasn't going to get canceled because of weather, and you know, kind of it started solidifying. I knew I wasn't going to be able to bring them because their fall break was the week just prior. We missed their fall break by 1 week. And just with the school systems the way they are down here, if we were in Michigan, it would have been no big deal, because they really value that kind of family time up there. But here, it's a very big deal to pull them out for anything, and pulling them out back up against a break would be very, very difficult. So that combined with $1,200 plane tickets, it would have been over $5,000 to fly for 4 people. So those two things combined, it did not make it feasible on this particular trip. But yes, I would like to bring the kids there. Maisie asked that. Maisie also asked, who is eligible to go to the conference. So social media on the Sand's a little bit different than other conferences you guys have seen on my channel. So I mentioned the All-Star Creators Conference I went to in 2015. That was a trip I won. I entered a video and I won it to go to that conference. I've also shown the Disney Social Media Moms Conference. On that one, you just get an invite. There's no application process. There's no throwing your hat in the ring. You just get an invitation. For this one, it's a little bit different. There's a website for it if you want to find out more information at socialmediaonthesand.com. This one is put on by Beaches Resorts and a number of the other partners. And there is an application process. It's for people who, I think obviously as the name suggests, are active in social media, and most of us, we do this for a living. I do this for a living. So it's for people that are very active on social media and use their social media as a vehicle to market, to share our lives, to you know, really get out there and try to make a difference. So you know, you put all of your social media stats and everything when you're applying, and then they selected a group of about 100 moms roundabouts from the US and Canada. I don't think that there are any other countries represented. Everyone I met was from the US and Canada. So that's what makes you eligible. Just basically that you are active on social media. Now that being said, primarily it was dominated by bloggers with a B, written blogs. I have a written blog, but it's not my main forte. I consider myself a YouTuber first and then everything else second. I'm pretty active on Instagram. I only use Twitter when I'm forced to. And then Facebook has been very strong with me. Facebook just introduced a new video program. I'm part of that. And so Facebook has really kind of taken off and become its own thing for me lately. So, you know, YouTube and Facebook for videos for me. And then I do have a written blog as a complement, but I don't consider myself just purely a blogger with a B. I consider myself more of a vlogger that has a blog. So this conference was unique because I think it was majority bloggers. I did not meet any other YouTubers. I met bloggers that did YouTube, you know, kind of on the side how I do my blog, but I didn't meet any 100% YouTubers. So if you're a YouTuber and you're looking to go, we're breaking that glass ceiling. So that being said, a lot of the conferences I have gone to are more blog centric. There are conferences just for YouTubers like Vid Summit and VidCon. I actually haven't been to any of those. So I should probably toss one of those on my bucket list and get to one of those. Because if I feel like at home with all of these blogging moms, I probably would feel even more at home at a video conference. It just hasn't happened yet. So we'll put it on the list. So those conferences do exist out in the YouTube world. But on the other hand, blogging is becoming a bigger part of, you know, what I put out. So there's also this other world just for bloggers with a B, like Blog Her, Blog 2.0, Blog whatever. I don't even know all of them. So it's a big world of conferences out there, guys. Let me see. What was your favorite activity that you guys did? I have to say the Floatopia party was probably my favorite. That was the party at the end where we had all the floats in the pool. We just jumped in the pool. The waitresses literally jumped in the pool in their full outfits, regular outfits, not swimsuits, had trays of drinks on their heads, and would just, you know, walk past you and be like, do you want a drink? And I'd be like, yeah. I mean, I don't drink a ton when I'm at home, but I'm a mixed drink person. I love a fruity, girly drink. So I was in my element. I was completely in my element. I mean, they had wine and beer and all those sorts of things, but I will hands down take a mixed drink, fruity, girly, frou-frou every single day over anything else. So I was completely in my element, but it was just a ton of fun. My camera just shut off. Apparently I'm talking too much. All right, I'll try to hurry this up because it's gonna be a really long video. So anyhow, they had entertainment there. They had a boy band that recently won an ABC contest. So it was just a really good, fun vibe, a great way to end the evening. It was for about like, I think it was from like 5 to 8 or 4:30 to 7:30 or something like that, because they had to end it early because there was a stage show, like just for the general public starting, like that was not too far away. So they had to turn off our music so that the stage show could go. So it luckily didn't run super long or anything, so we had time to still go explore some more and, you know, go get our things packed and all that. So really a great way to end the experience. Any Sweet Life says, what is available for entertainment for the age group 18 to 20? It's always tough to take this age group on a family vacation when they are not little kids, but not over 21 either. Can't wait to see the vlogs. Thanks, Lucy. So, Lucy, I am happy to tell you, or you're welcome, I'm sorry. The drinking age in Turks and Caicos is actually 18. So you don't have to worry about that 21 age anymore, but I don't know if that is actually, then you have to worry about them being off the bar. But we saw plenty of happy 18-year-olds at the swim bars. They were all kind of hanging out in little groups. So the kids clubs are divided up. There's a baby age group from 0 to 12 months. There's Camp Sesame from age 1 to 4. There's the Pirates Island from ages 5 to 10. And then there's a tween club, which is like 11 to 14. And then there's teens from 15 to 18. After they're 18, they're considered an adult. 18-year-olds can drink at the Turks and Caicos. So for a 20-year-old, they would pretty much be able to go into all the adult clubs. They can drink. So it's really kind of an adult experience for them at that point. Hopefully that answers your question. So that is all of the questions on Instagram, which I had pulled up, and I'm going to try to scroll backwards real quick on Facebook because I think there was a couple questions over here. So someone asked, is Beaches similar to Sandals? And yes, you hit the nail on the head. Sandals actually owns Beaches, so they're the same company actually. Sandals started out just for kind of the couple crowd to bring people in for honeymoons or baby moon or whatever they're coming in for. But then they had repeat customers that eventually ended up having families, and they started Beaches. Beaches is for everyone. So you can come on a multi-generational trip, you can come with the kids. They really structure it to where there's activities and fun, for everyone. And I really, I saw as much as I could. I went to all the pools. I tried to try as many of the restaurants as I could so I can do full, restaurant review blogs. I saw as many of the shows as I could so I can do like show reviews and talk about the entertainment. I went snorkeling, so I used the water sports desk. But there's also things that you can pay for additionally, like you can go parasailing, you can do snuba. I wanted to do snuba, I just didn't have a big enough block time to fit it in. That's the only kind of downside to the conferences is usually when you have a block time, it's only like an hour and a half to maybe 3 hours, usually like 2 hours the max. So it's enough time to go grab a drink at the pool bar and go swimming, but it's really not enough time to go out on a boat and go do snuba. So I never had a big enough block of time to go try that. It's on my bucket list. I would love to go try it. If you don't know what snuba is, it's snorkeling with scuba mask on. Special thing they do in the Caribbean. So they actually take you out on a boat and then you jump off. You don't go down that deep. You don't go down as deep as snorkeling, but it's, you have like a cord so you can go down a little bit further than snorkeling. I hope I explained that right. Pam asked why the Sesame Street entertainment, it just didn't seem to fit. So I kind of talked a little bit about that at the beginning. I actually got to meet some of the people that were there representing Sesame Street. They were really super excited about the partnership. And so one of the things Beaches was trying to do as they were developing their properties like a decade ago is they wanted something to appeal to the kids. And characters are a big thing for the younger age groups to kind of get them energized and get them engaged. But they didn't want to come up with their own characters. They wanted it to be kind of a partnership. So they looked at a number of different companies, and Sesame Street seemed like the natural kind of fit. And it felt like that for Sesame Street as well. And so they really focus on the younger ages for like the Sesame Street experiences. Like Camp Sesame is obviously Sesame Street inspired. The characters go there. With that being said, the 5 and 10-year-olds still have character interactions. Like the characters will come visit at their kids club and they can do, I don't think there's an age limit. They do character tuck-ins at bedtime. This is kind of cool. So the character, like literally you can call and have Elmo come to your room and like tuck your 3-year-old in. That's pretty cool. As I don't know about you, but my kids were obsessed with Elmo. So that's cool. And at the end of the day, if you want to talk in business terms, because I have 2 business degrees, it's marketing. The Sesame Street collaboration is because it's a great way to show that beaches is for families, because, you know, I think a lot of people, they think, oh, we're gonna fly all this way, what's there gonna be to do for the kids? Well, there are things to do for the kids. There's the kids clubs, there's obviously all the water activities, swimming, just hanging out, and then they have these special activities that revolve around Sesame Street characters. So it's a cool partnership. I actually had some great conversations with the Sesame Street folks, so stay tuned there, but there's some fun things opening up closer to home later on, but we'll talk about those in a different video because they are in collaboration with a different company. So yeah, Sesame Street is really a strong, you know, entity that I think lots of kids are familiar with. So it's a great partnership for both Sesame Street and beaches, I think. And so if you're there, it feels very natural, probably in the videos, because you're getting such choppy, you know, I didn't film for like 5 hours at a time and then I'm like filling in, you know, what we do. It's really hard with conferences because not everything is filmable, and then the times that sometimes may be filmable, but you're just trying to get from point A to point B and you're hurried, it's not appropriate, or you can't really film because you're trying to hurry. So conferences are kind of a tough thing to film, but that being said, I like to give you guys a little taste of the experience and kind of show you what it looks like. So yeah, I enjoyed this Sesame Street entertainment, even though obviously I didn't have any kids with me. I watched Sesame Street when I was a kid. So I think that's the kind of neat thing about the characters, is that everyone has some sort of affinity to them. Even if it was you watched the characters when you were 3, you know them. I mean, I know all their names. I still remember Cookie Monster and, you know, Oscar the Grouch and all that from when I was a kid. So I think it's just kind of a neat extra element. That being said, if you go to beaches with older kids, or you go to beaches, you know, with kids that are not interested in Sesame Street, you literally probably would never see the characters unless you went out of your way to see them, if that makes sense. The reason why the characters were on that stage last night were specifically because it was a Beaches Moms event, and they're trying to show us everything that the resort has to offer. So that's a little bit atypical. The typical nighttime entertainment, which I did not film for copyright issues, but the typical nighttime entertainment was a like actor troupe. They did a lot of things based around popular songs. So that's the reason I couldn't film it, was because it was like, you know, a Pink song and they were like acting it out to them. So anyhow, I can talk more about that in you know, a different video. But actually, if you went to beaches and you had kids that weren't particularly inclined to Sesame Street, it's not everywhere. So like if they're out of that 0 to 4 and they're not going to that kids club, you really might not even ever see it while you're there. So anyhow, I just like having a range of video because I come home and I write blog posts, and I like to have some sort of video to kind of give a more immersive experience that I embed down to the bottom of those, you know, blog posts. And they know that everyone's gonna go home and write different experiences about the trip. So they kind of show us, when we go to these conferences, they try to show us really a wide overview of what's available. And then we kind of go from there and pick and choose whatever kind of content we want to talk about. You know, obviously that's all up to us. Okay, so I'm gonna stop talking now because my camera has turned off twice since I started this. Once because I just decided to turn off, and the other time because the battery just died. If you have any other questions, I'm more than happy to answer those. I'm gonna be going through and obviously writing a number of different reviews for my blog on the food, on the entertainment, on the Sesame Street characters, really the experience as a whole. My favorite drink, Purple Rain. If you go to Turks and Caicos, definitely go get that from the pool bar. It's amazing. Probably one of my favorite parts of the trip was the pool bars, not gonna lie. But yeah, it was a really awesome experience. I definitely would take the kids and my family back there at some point. Amazing experience being able to work with the Sandals Foundation. I hope to keep working with them and be a part of rebuilding schools around the Caribbean in the future as well. And I'm glad I got to share the experience with you guys here on YouTube. So thanks so much for watching today. Be sure to let me know if you have any other questions, but I will see you in another video very soon. Have a great day.